So what if I told you that by the end of today's video, I'm going to make it that you can actually swing slower and yet hit the ball further than ever before. Now, hopefully you like the sound of that. So I think a lot of golfers tell me that they swing too fast. And even though I don't necessarily agree they swing too fast, I would agree that they try and hit the ball too hard. So I think when I see a lot of golfers swing, they'll stand up, lots and lots of effort, and the strike's poor. They get that high left to right shape that goes nowhere, and there's no accuracy. And the one thing that a lot of club golfers just don't do is they don't compress the golf ball. So they understand that from address that they would want shaft lean coming into the golf ball. But unfortunately, when a lot of golfers try and get that shaft lean, they hit this shot. Way over to the right. And again, nowhere and in trouble. And the problem is, if you watch at address, if I just simply move the shaft forward, that club face is opening up. And again, because it's going nowhere, golfers then just try and hit the ball harder and harder. And even at 87 mile an hour club head speed there's only 128 yards carry. So how nice would it be if we gave you a little swing thought that you could stand up, really feel that you take a bit of speed out to begin with. And even though I've dropped 3 mile an hour in club head speed, I've suddenly carried that 168 yards. So I know what you're thinking, how am I going to drop club head speed but pick up 30 mile an hour? So if we're going to create that shaft lean, we have to create it in the right way and deliver the club very differently to how we would normally. So what I'm going to get you work on is it's two-part, and I would say when we first do the initial bit, we might miss a little bit to the right. So the two-part is we want more shift towards the target, and as we move towards the target, makes it much easier to get that shaft ahead. And then we need to deliver the club in a different fashion so that club face still points nice and straight. But the first part is, can we get shifting nice and early and aggressively into that lead side? So I'm not trying to physically swing the club fast, but I want to feel as I'm getting towards the top of my swing, I'm going to feel like I just fall towards the target. So let's have that little feel. And all of a sudden there, 75 mile an hour club speed, but that launch angle's come right down to 13 degrees and carry at 146. And I think for most golfers, they just don't do that. They get to the top of the swing, they twist, they throw the club out, club face releases early, lots and lots of loft, and there's no strike, no power, no distance. So again, we're going to do another one of those, back, shift towards the target, keep the loft off the club. So again, under 12 degrees, 78 mile an hour, 144 carry. Now, I think for most golfers, they'll probably miss a little bit more right to begin with than that, but I want you to get that feel of how quick the ball feels like it's coming off the club face, because it's a very, very different feel from that glancing blow that most golfers get. But once you start getting that shift towards the target, then I want you to really focus on this trail shoulder. So for most golfers, they'll get back, and like we said, as they spin out, that right shoulder is very high and working out towards the ball. Where I want you to focus on, when you get back and shift, that shoulder's now going to go down and feel like it points more at the ball rather than out at that camera. So shift, shoulder down. And what we're actually doing there is we're putting some side bend into the golf swing, and we can see how my head, when I put that side bend in, actually drops down a little bit and back. So we've shifted, then that shoulder creates a side bend. Now that's an impact position that we'd like to create, isn't it? So I know there's a couple of thoughts there, but shift and right shoulder down. So 81 mile an hour club head speed, ball speed at 116, launching at 13.5, carry at 167. And honestly there, just feels like I'm not trying to create any speed, and yet the speed's still decent. Now, for some of you out there, we don't want it launching quite that low, but for now, I would love to see golfers launching a bit lower with those short and mid irons. So again, I'm going to do one more shift, right shoulder down, and get that feel. And again, 80 mile an hour club speed, launching at 12, carry at 155. Now, I would actually say for a lot of golfers, the influence they suddenly have on the golf ball is completely different from what they're doing. Might start hitting little draws, but flatter, much more distance on the shot. Now, if you are somebody that doing that, find that the ball comes out really, really low, all I would actually want you to try is just move your ball position very slightly forward of centre. And again, focus on the same feel. And you see there, 82 mile an hour club head speed, launched higher at 21 degrees, ball speed still stayed up at 114.5, but carry jumped up to 179. And that's just simply that when we're getting this movement, we can see how much more shaft lean there is, which means that we're hitting down through the ball, low point a lot further ahead. And if that's too excessive, move that ball position forward, and that's what's going to launch it higher and actually give you a little bit more distance. Certainly once you're getting into 7, 6, 5 iron, going to make a world of difference with those. But for me personally, that's something I could do a little bit better, that shift towards the target, but certainly that right shoulder down for me is not something I do great down the line. I usually get much more this way into the ball. I love that feeling of right shoulder down. Helps me keep my posture and definitely gets me compressing the ball much better. Now, even though you are hitting the ball further now by swinging slower, then I always think it's nice to challenge yourself and say, right, I'm not going to try and hit the ball hard, but I am going to allow myself to maybe try and just let the club move a little bit quicker, just as the cherry on top of the cake for this one. So we're going to set up, focus on the move, and then as we add speed back in, we see 89.4 club speed, launching at 15, 125 ball speed, and suddenly 180 carry. Now, if you want to compress the golf ball, like we said, you need those two elements in your golf swing. So we need to shift towards the target, right shoulder down, and as you swing through, you are going to swing slower to begin with, but straight away you're going to hit the ball further, and as you get more confident with it, put the speed back in, and we just start going further and further and further.